Uncle Merv decided that riding holidays would be the thing. He had two young daughters. That was very spectacular because we came right along the top of the Carneddau. With Snowdon sort of north of us, there is a track actually you can get off and then you climb up onto the top, more or less, at the beginning, and then you keep going up and down all the way back. Actually, we came back to Rowen. Very lovely nights in pubs, but they had to have stables, you see, because we had each person had a horse. They all had rather posh ponies and thoroughbreds, because two other friends of his came and they were hunters, and I had this really solid-looking Welsh cob. You know, if you're horsey, it wasn't in the same class, really, but it was the best ride over the top because we got into bog. The beautiful thoroughbreds had little tiny aristocratic feet and the cobs have lovely big feet, spreading their weight evenly and able to get out. We had no problem with the bogginess and the marshes, just went plodding on. My aunt, who was living in Rowen, about outside Rowen at Nghilfach, had died. She was in the ATS and she came out in 1945. She decided that she wanted to come back to the Conwy Valley because she knew it and loved it from her childhood. When she looked at Nghilfach, she asked my father to go with her to the sale because she was very nervous about bidding. And as it turned out, the bidding was very competitive. There was a man who was very, very determined to buy Nghilfach. And I remember my father coming home, saying he'd been back to Denby where we were living, coming back home and saying, "Oh, it was terrible, it was terrible." And she just kept saying to me, go on, keep bidding, keep bidding." And it got to £7,000 for the house and 20 acres. And that was a lot of money then, in 1945. It's not big, you see, but it was enough to do what she wanted to do. And she had a wonderful helper, Tom Jones, who was lived in Tinnergrace, and he'd always worked there with the previous previous owners. So he was very familiar with things, and she had always been able to drive, which was quite unusual for that generation. And so in the army, in the ATS, she'd had to drive lorries.
Before I retired, I was Professor of Animal Science in the University of Aberdeen. But I'd always wanted to farm because my first degree was in agriculture. But I had to wait till I was 60 before I could start farming. And then we inherited this farm here. The land had been let to our neighbours. We took it back and we farmed with cattle and sheep. We had pedigree Charolais cattle here, and we farmed for about 18 years, and then we retired again. I got to the age when I felt I should no longer be training Charolais bulls to walk on a halter.
The garden is positioned with a very, very good view of the Conwy Valley and the river. When you stand in our garden, you don't see anything actually in the way of habitation. There's a farm below, then there's a hill with a house on it, and then there's Trwy, and in the distance we see the lights at night of Llanrwst. But actually the view, the valley is just empty.